So as you can see, yeah, I've added an environment. I've actually got a package because look at it, it just feels like it was made for what I'm doing. Okay, and you'll find this package, it's called Local Caves. You'll find it in the description, you'll find a link for it. Okay, it's an affiliate link, so I'm getting 1 cent or something like that. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I'm going to use this because it's going to save me a huge amount of time, because I want to also cover level stuff and things like that. Okay, but for now it's not really needed. I assume you're going to make your own environments, or you know, to fit your own style. But for what we're doing over here, yeah, it's going to save me a lot of time. And as I said, check the description if you're interested, and you can get it from there. And also it's an affiliate link. Now, since I've added this, you can see we have a few issues like this. So we're going to create the camera collision system and then go back into working with our AI a lot more. What I want to do with the AI, if we make it in this, you know, if we have time, I want to basically turn what we have written for him, for this guy, into some generic which we can override and we can use for different types of enemies. Okay, let's leave at that and let's go into our scripts, and we should start writing. Camera manager, that's what we need for now. And then let's go on to, let's collapse everything. We have our tick, which is this. Then we have follow target, and then we have handle rotation. In the tick, after we have done the, and before we do actually after we have written our follow target, we can do this also after handle rotation. Anyway, we're going to say void handle pivot position. I want to create one more thing over here, and by thing I mean a function, and I'm going to say camera collision. We're going to be passing a target Z or Z, and then a reference of our actual set, what we're going to be using. So from that, we're going to be creating a step. So we're going to be getting the absolute value of our target Z. I'm going to set as step count. We're going to start with 2. If you want, you can have a lot more than 2, or you can have even 1. It depends on how accurate you want this to be and how much performance you need to have. Okay, and that's basically the increment for every step. It's going to take this increment every time. So we're going to be doing a raycast hit. The origin now is going to be our pivot dot position, and the direction vector 3 dir will be the opposite of our pivot. So basically the opposite way the pivot is looking at. And we're going to do a raycast out hit. The step is the length of the entire length of a raycast, and we also want ignore layers, which should be taking this from our states. Ignore layers. Okay, if we hit something, we need to check the distance, vector 3, dot distance from hit dot point and the origin. And then our actual Z is going to be minus distance by 2. Okay, so this will basically, if it finds something in the back, it's going to make it to have it's going to put it at half the distance, which is a pretty safe distance in most cases. Really this will work nicely, but there is cases that our camera might be really close to something else, so we still might get other objects inside our view. Okay, so to fix this, we're going to be saying for each step count, we're going to do another for loop. This time only 4 ways. You can do this 8 ways if you want to go into different directions as well. And let's call this direction and this direction as well. So we can say vector3 dir will start as vector3.0, then vector3 as a second origin, which will be our origin plus the direction multiplied by s multiplied by our step increment. We're going to do a switch. Okay, we've seen this before in the third person shooter series, but let's write it anyway. Case 1, case 0, case 1, break, case 2, break, case 3, break. We don't want any default, doesn't really matter, we already have it. So for case 1, the direction is going to be, we're going to start from our camera transform dot right, then this don't really have to be on a precise order. We want the up dir equals minus cam trans dot up. Okay, so we have left, right, up and down. So this will give us the directions, and this will be a plus. This will be a plus over here. Okay. And we're going to be doing again another recast. From our second origin to the direction out hit. The distance you want to have, this can be, I have this at 0.5 on my third person, so let's use 0.5. Let's use the same, ignore layers, leave this like that. Then we need to find the new distance, vector3 dot distance between our second origin and our first origin. Then we have our actual z will be minus distance subdivided by 2, and if the actual z is lower than 0.2, then that means you're just way too close. Of course you can change this, then set the actual z to 0 and do a return. Okay, so let's minimize this and let's create a public float default z, and this will be the default z of our camera. So on handle pivot, let's also create one more public float z speed. I'm going to say 19. So we're going to be starting with float target z will start as default z. Then we have going to do camera collision default z, then the reference the target z. So actually this can be 0, but just to be safe, let's just set this up as default z. Okay, then we're going to be doing float actual z will be actually, you know what, let's save also the current z. Float current z, current z will be mathf lerp current z target z stage.delta multiplied by z speed. Before we forget, on init current z will equals the default z. Okay, then we're going to be creating vector 3. Target position will start at 0. taf_p.z will be current z, and then camera transform dot local position equals taf_p handle pivot position, and inside our tick down here just add it down here. Okay, minimize, open this up, and let's go and set the default z after Unity compiles, of course. Main camera is -474, so this will be -474. Let's hit play. And this is probably way too close. I think it's basically we are either hitting our own guy, as you can see. So let's put some debug logs in here to see what we're actually getting or what we're actually hitting. Ref target z. So first one will be debug draw array origin direction multiplied by step color dot blue, and down here paste the same. Second origin, actually this should be direction. Second origin dir multiplied by 0.5, although I think I'm going to change this to 0.2. Direction by 0.2, color, let's change this to red. There. Okay, let's try this, see what we're getting. Yeah, I guess it's going to be a little bit annoying having to load the entire levels, but we're going to live with this. Okay, so this is kind of cleaner, as you can see. We're still missing one, so we should be doing step +1, I believe. Step count, yeah, step count +1, so we're also doing it on the final step. And yeah, that was it. Maybe we're actually hitting our own collider as well. Let's give it a debug log. Debug.log hit.parent hit.root actually the transform.root.name, and let's do this as well over here. And let's see if we are hitting our own colliders. And we actually aren't. So that works. It's just the cave that is a bit, yeah, that is too close. But we can fix this if we lower the Z speed. Let's make it to 5, so at least it's not that extreme and it's not jumping around that much. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So that's our camera. Let's remove our debug logs. No need to have them. And let's comment them out. So that's our camera. Minimize. Let's see if this asset is actually separated into positions. You can see that the entirety of this, is really huge. So at least for this is exactly what we need, or what I need. But the main issue is that right now I'm not really concerned with my levels, and I can see that it's not really well, this is the demo scene, so you know they are excused, but I think we could just cut all these areas. We can cut them, or we could start from, well, that's way too many bones, too many calcium. Let's think. You can see it has some nice stuff. Yeah, let's cut everything from over here. Actually, I don't want to cut them. I want to create a new scene. Add new scene. Save the scene. And I'm going to drop them into the new scene. Delete the extra stuff that comes with a new scene. We also have one directional light. I think this is from the above scene. Let's get all three of them. We'll find which is not the one we want. Let's save. Delete the main camera, and then I'm going to unload. Save. Okay, now we have half the scene. We could actually, since it's like this, we could actually cut even further, I believe. I just want to find a huge, or some huge area that we can test our AI a bit more. And we cut that away. Damn it. Anyway. Okay, let's bring this, or actually, you know what? So, what I did, I actually did the opposite. I've kept the small stuff. Okay, the small part we cut off. Well, this is far more than what we actually need for the video purposes. When we're actually going to do the level logic and all that, we're going to use the rest of it. And one last thing I wanted to do is, because I've baked the navigation previously, Okay, it has, yeah, of course, it has some stuff that we're never going to use. It also it kept the old, like for the entire level. We don't necessarily need all of this, unless you have enemies that can follow you from one, from Sense Fortress back to the beginning, which there's no way this could ever happen. So I'm just going to go and bake this again. It's fairly fast, and it doesn't really have any, yeah, it works, it's good enough for now. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's go and bring our enemy closer to us, something like this, and let's test that everything is working. And it does. Okay, so let's create a few more interactions with our enemy. There's a few stuff that change. Anyway, so as you can see, or as you have noticed, the actual enemy doesn't really change, doesn't really attack us. Like, he can't really do any damage to us. We're going to change that. So let's go on to the AI handler. Open this up. Let me check a little bit. And I think on our animator hook as well, since we're using the same animations, it should be, we should be using this as well, this and this. So put an upper dot over here, and we'll come back in a bit. All this can stay, we still have them. Let's create a new, actually, you know what we can say, we can just add it directly on the AI attacks. This will make a little bit more sense. Let me see one thing. Stage damage zone, open all damage colliders. I want to see how I've saved all this. Okay, we've saved them as actual game objects. So onto our AI handler, game object, an array, damage, collider. I'm going to also put a bool over here and say use default damage collider, because we can have a wide spectrum of enemies. Okay, we can't just assign to everybody damage colliders. Well, we can, but it's not really that ideal. We can just assign, and in the attacks themselves, we can assign damage colliders right on the weapons sometimes, especially for AoE attacks, as you can guess. So we're also going to bring public game object default damage colliders. Then we're going to do public void open damage colliders. We need to have saved the current AI attack we're going to be doing. So let's see where do we, or let's assign it over here. AI attacks, current attack. Will attack, it's handled by this. Will attack, and we can say current attack instead of will attack. Current attack, and attack. Okay, so if current attack is null, return. If not, we're going to check if current attack is use default, is default damage collider. Actually, let's make a list of a function over here, collider damage, or yeah, I guess object list status. We can get an array. I don't think we're going to need a list, an actual list, an array, and bool status. So for L dot length, L I dot set active status, and over here we can say is default object list status default damage collider is true, else object list status current attack damage collider, and this one again true. So when there is false, when there is open, there's also going to be a close, public void close damage colliders. Let's do the same thing, paste all this, current attack, and this will now change to false, and this again to false. So back to our on animator hook. If states, if E I'll do E states thought open don't tell me we have this on the yeah. So from our enemy states, we should be reflecting on our AI handler, I guess. I don't want to do this like this though. So it states okay, we're going to say let's add it somewhere over here and say public AI attacks current attack and public game object default damage colliders. Okay, then on AI handler cut all of this, enemy states, let's go down, let's add them over here, car attack, car attack, and we need to bring one more thing, which is object list status, enemy states, and paste this down here. Okay, and this will be car attack, and current attack. Then on to our AI handler, let's delete this current attack Actually, on my enemy states, I don't want this to be public because it's a serialized field, and I'm going to say public void set current attack AI attacks A current attack equals A. Okay, on to AI handler again. Let's fix this. States dot, damn it. Okay, we're going to make a get as well. Public void get current attack, return current attack, and this will be AI attacks. AI handler. So set current attack will attack, and states dot get current attack. If it's not null, AI state AI attacks. Okay, let's write it like this. AI attacks, AI will attack, states dot set current attack A, and then we can say A and A. Okay, now on to our enemy states. Inside my open attacks, I'm going to say if current attack damage colliders and current attack dot damage collider dot length equals 0, no, or current attack damage collider dot length equals 0, then do this. Same with this. Save, minimize. Let's see what we have. Is states dot open damage colliders. Take this and over here say close damage colliders. Minimize. So this will give us a few our default damage colliders, and inside our attacks they can have their own damage colliders. Let's create onto this. Let's create a new game object, create empty, call this damage collider. It's going to have a box collider. Let's see our layers, damage collider, and you can see there's a bug over here, something like this, something like this. Make this a trigger. And anyway, good enough. Damage collider. Let's check our damage collider over here, and it says on trigger render collider other, it only checks if states is null. So we're going to say if states not equals null, do this. Okay, and we should be checking for state manager states other dot transform dot get component in parent state manager. If states not equals null, and for now just do a debug log. We'll see what that's going to do. Oh, we already have states. We also need to run an init, as you can see. So st over here. Okay, enemy states, e states, void. I'm going to do a control double tap R, and I'm going to say init player. This goes and changes this function, the name of the function, everywhere it's placed. Now I want to say public void init enemy state manager st e states equals st, and this will now be an enemy states, and then set a game object dot layer to 9. Okay, because we're going to need this in a bit. So one more thing inside our enemy state, or let's do this on the AI handler, I guess, since we already have the references. Inside start, I'm going to say void init damage colliders. Then we're going to say for all the AI attacks dot length for c AI attacks dot I dot damage collider dot length game object geo, and you know what, damage collider the AI attacks I dot damage collider c dot get component damage collider, and then the init enemy states. And after that we also should be doing a for loop for, we should be doing the same thing actually, for our states dot default damage colliders dot length, and take all this again, change this with this. Okay, take this, Control C, and start. After you init your states, do an init damage collider as well. Save, minimize, and we need to set at least the default damage colliders for this guy. So we have our enemy, drag and drop the default damage collider over here. Okay, and then do a clear. Hit play, and let's see if we are going to get, we have an error. Let's see why. Oh, yeah, we have an error because we are actually doing this. I'm going to rename this into ES. Hit apply, and I'm going to say if states. So if it's the player, then you're looking for the, no, for this guy. And if, so do a return over here. If E states, then look for a state manager. Well, you can write it then, but since it doesn't have anything else, it doesn't really matter. And also let's put in here game object set active to false, and game object set active to false as well. Save, minimize, and hit play. Okay, and he can actually now hit us. Something is messing up his rotation, so let's go and check on our AI handler and say, let's see, when he attacks, stop, it's true, rotate the target, false. It could be just be his animations actually, unless we are messing up something else. Let's see. Rotate to target, false. If rotate to target, look towards target. Oops. Go definition. Okay, so I'm going to put a debug over here. Minimize and hit play. Clear. And for some reason he's already looking the wrong way. Okay, look towards target, steer to target, find all references. Well, this should have been correct, or at least it looks correct. There's the target, See what this is. We don't want this. Let's recompile. Yeah, it's working correctly, but I see that my animations are actually rotated wrong. So one way we can fix this is if we go into our animations, attacks, you can see he's rotated a little bit on the right. If you change the root transform rotation, something like this, it should work. Let's make him that he only attacks with one. Let's find the okay, let's use only this, the Great Sword OH attack 1. Okay, so on to AI attacks. Great Sword attack 1, Great Sword attack 1, Great Sword OH attack 1. So these are all the three, all different. They are all the same, so I'm just only going to bring one down. And one last thing I want to make sure is my rigid body, yeah, angular drag is at 999, and the rigid body is kinematic. Okay, now he actually correct. So it was the animation, the script was correct. And this has a cooldown effect because you can see that he only has one attack. And actually, let him attack. Yeah, I think he tries to rotate. So maybe it's still a problem with the animation. No, it isn't. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Pause, clear. The rotation is open. Bring my guy forward. And it doesn't seem that it's doing it. Anyway, maybe we can just be a little bit more tight with the frames with low rotation. Okay, for some reason now I think I cannot hit this guy, so I'm going to set his health, enemy states. Let's hit play. Let's see how much health he actually has. Yeah, that's way too much. Let's change the enemy states in neat. Let's change this to 100. And I want to get rid of the poise we have. The logic we've added, since we don't know exactly how it's calculated at this point. Oh, yeah, we have this as well. So, character stats, poise, let's remove this. Or better yet, let's copy all this, paste it above, comment it out, and now remove this in case we're going to need it in the future, which we might. Oops. Delete, save. Okay, let's see if we can do him damage right now and what that's going to happen, what that's going to do. And yeah, we can't. However, you can see that it can be broken if he has an attack logic. And we are both useless from what I can see. Yeah, I didn't need to jump that far. Well, if he's only one health more, and we're stuck for some reason. And there he goes. This happening because we also have the ragdolls. We should ignore the ragdolls as well from his on ground check. Now let's make him, because he can animate so that he can have hits. Let's go and say, let's see what we're doing on his damage. Is visible. Okay, we have two of this. Let's ignore this then as well. Let's see where the other damage is. Do damage is invisible. So if we get all of this and go into our own state manager now, pin him, and let's go down over here. Let's write public void damage, do damage. Let's paste this. Let's clean this up a bit. No need for all of this. Is visible. Return. Okay, let's add it over here. Say public bool is invisible. Then down here is invisible. This will go away. And then we have character stats dot health or HP. Ignore the poise. A, let's see what the A was. Okay. Current weapon, there's no current weapon. There's also no action. Unless we can pass, we want to pass the actual AI attack. AI attack A. And for now, let's comment this too, and then we're going to write the actual AI attack. Is invisible. I guess it's is invisible. Okay, not invisible. Can move. It's going to play this animation. It's going to apply the root motion. Then we can say anim.set bool on empty to false, can move false. Oops. Static strings dot on empty is can move on empty equals false. One of these should do the trick. AI attacks, okay, and is invisible over here, okay, is true. But if you are invisible onto the tick, which I've lost on the tick. Okay, let's say if is invisible, whatever, let's create a timer, iTimer plus delta if timer is greater than 0.5, is invisible equals false, and iTimer should be 0. Tick. Then on the damage collider, on trigger render over here, instead of the debug log, you can keep the debug log. You can say state.do damage states dot get not states, states dot get current attack, because on the current attack we can have different animations. hit play. And that didn't work. We have health over here, so I don't know why that didn't work. I actually want to make the enemy a little bit our enemy AI handler. The AI attack minimum distance we can save 4. Target mission, target field of view angle. Let's change his side to 20. Frame count, attack count, okay. Then onto our controller, let's go over here. State manager is the go definition, do damage, is visible return, health, minus damage. If you can move, let's ignore the can move and let him play this. Okay, let's check what our actual enemy is doing. Short, damage collider. He's up. From what I can see, he doesn't even close his... oh, yeah, I know why that is. Because we don't have any... onto our controller, into our actual guy, we don't have anything, we don't have ragdolls. So that's a bummer. We do have the transforms, the exposed transforms, so let's go select our guy, far it's set on our rig. Let's expose as well the chest, spine 2, okay, apply, and we also have the not this chest, we want the spine 2. Add, let's add a capsule collider or something. So the radius, or actually let's add a box collider. Box collider. Let's change this to if this was working, it would have been swell, but it doesn't. Open this up. Okay, you can create a ragdoll for him, but this, I'm not going to create a ragdoll right now. You can create a ragdoll, but if you're going to create a ragdoll, that means you're going to have to basically have all your extra transforms to expose and have them in here. Okay, or you know, the ones that you use for the ragdoll. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but anyway. Can do that. Okay, so this will be the damage collider. Let's see what we have into this guy. Oops, I don't want the rock. I want its body. It sits on the default, as you can see, with the ragdoll. So if we leave this at the default controller, it should work. If he could actually hit us. And maybe he can't. Let's see then if we... Let's find his ragdoll again. No, he's still on the default. No, torso, spine 2. Let's call this is trigger. So probably we have something else that's not working as well on animator hook. Actually, let's go on my spine 2, fix this as is trigger, save, open here. Open those colliders. This also doesn't work. I don't know why, we'll see. And let's go into the damage collider. Let's see if we're actually getting in here, if we're even getting in here. I'm going to go into the enemy and tick the use default damage collider. Let's see all that. Oh, damn it. Yeah, the damage collider we are using is the one from this. We don't want this damage collider, we want the one on the enemy stage, which we haven't assigned yet. So we need to fix that as well. Close that. Then let's go find our damage collider, drop it here, save, minimize, hit play, and now it should probably work without problems. Yeah, at least it's getting there. Oh, he actually attacked us. So now the problem is with ourselves, with our guy, and it actually works. Okay, the only thing I don't like is that he can actually push us, although I guess that can happen in Dark Souls as well. Well, at least we can get attack. Yeah, he can actually push us further. So let's go into our controller. Let's see, we have drag. Well, you know, the easy way to fix this is basically just going into this guy's controller with the damage collider and making it bigger. So even if he pushes us, he's still going to hit us. Okay, easy stuff. So let's end this here. We're still not done with our AIs. I think we have to, let's remove these two. We know they are working. Go to definition, do damage. Let's check a little bit our tick or our fixed tick. Have our tick and fixed tick. Okay, close weapons is to hand. Okay, and we are going to say is in action is true as well. And where was it? Do damage in action equals true. Let's see what changes, what checks if we are in action. Oh, nothing. It's this one. Awesome. So one more thing onto the AI handler. We're going to say public string react animation. Public bool has react anim. I intentionally add has react animation so that we can close this and open it anytime we want. And onto our state manager, where it is, over here. Not this, not this. Let's find the do damage, which is down here. Let's delete all of this because nobody cares. Oops. Come on. Delete and say if a dot has react animation, else play one of the randoms, doesn't matter. Of course this is it's kind of simplified. Otherwise say dot anim dot play a dot react animation. So if I want to hard code, think of a boss. Okay, when he attacks you, there is some attacks that he's going to nail you down to the ground or something like that, or play a different animation. There is all this nice stuff that can happen to you basically. Damage 3, for example, because it goes from going down and you have to get up. Obviously for the player we might need, it might be a little bit too simplified, but at least it's a start. Because the player can be control if he wants to get up or not. React animation has react animation, and let's test this and we will end the video here. Okay, so we have something wrong with our Y, or we're hitting something. Oh, I think we're hitting this. I think I know what it is. This is our controller, and of course, what the? Oh, we're hitting this, our own collider. So let's go into our states, to our state manager, onto the ignore layers, hide inspector, public layer mask. Instead of ignore layers, we're going to say ground check ignore for ground check, and ignore layers, go over here, ignore layers, ignore for ground check. I want to still do the 9, and we're going to add one more, which is going to sit on 10, which is going to be our ragdolls and damage, damage receivers, or however those are called, which now should be not layer, not layout, not even one of these, edit layers, ragdolls, and then go into my spine 2, ragdolls, and now we have to do this for the entire enemy, for the entire ragdoll enemy, which means we can go on to our enemy stage. Let's find a ragdoll colliders and rigid bodies, find our references. We are doing this over here, so that means we can also say ragdoll rigids, not ragdoll rigids, rigs I dot game object dot layer equals 10. Minimize, hit play, and let's try this now. Should be fine. For some reason he snapped. Oh, we forgot to change the state manager. On ground, capital on ground, go definition, oops, that's not the definition, this is the definition, go definition, skip ground check, we should do ignore for ground check, save, minimize, hit play. And let's see. Okay, everything works surprisingly. Let's beat this guy. I think some of their animations have a little issue. We're getting clamped. Oops. Yeah, I guess I can't do that. I'm either missing, or I don't remember if I've actually added events to open the damage colliders on these animations. So I don't really know what's wrong with this. Well, obviously with better animations it's going to look way better and more fluid. And if you were a little bit more skilled than me, you could actually hit this guy. Let's backstab him. And I can see we have something that's missing. But at least it's pretty good. And there he goes. And of course, because this is Dark Souls, obviously. So, you know what to do. Subscribe. Go like. Don't be this guy. And of course, if you like to see more, and you like to support me so I can keep making a lot more of this, then consider supporting me on Patreon or via Gumroad, where you also get you can get projects from the channel. On Patreon you get also additional rewards depending on your pledge. There is also a few more stuff coming. So yeah, I'll see you next time. I actually wanted to do this.